Okay, so here I have the materials I'll need to make these booties from these flip-flops, and I want to go over them really quick with you. Alright, so now I'm going to start with preparing these flip-flops to become boots, and that starts with taking off the straps. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of sealant in the soles of these. I'm not exactly sure the best practices for this sealant, but I'm trying to follow the directions. Alright, so I had let these sit overnight with the sealant, this clear sealant, and it dried very nicely. It did not work the way I was expecting, though. It worked out even better. So the tapestry needle is just going to thread in and out of these holes, and I'm going to do something that in sewing terms is called a back stitch. So first let me start by cutting a nice length of yarn, and I'm going to cut this piece of yarn pretty long so that hopefully it will go all the way around in one piece, because I personally do not want to have to cut two pieces. So I'm going to start by tying a knot in the end and threading the other end. You certainly can use a large sharp needle. You don't have to use a blunt tipped needle, but that's what I have, and it's good for yarn. Alright, so you can pretty much start anywhere. I'm going to start the back of the sole, and I'm going to go in from the bottom. And if you made your holes big enough, this shouldn't be too hard. And I'm going to pull it through until I get to the knot. Now, you could pull the knot all the way to the sole, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and start my next stitch here at the beginning. And when I get here, I'm going to put my needle through the yarn here so that it will actually create a loop. That's what I like to do when I start pretty much anything hand sewing. So I've got my first stitch. Now, what I don't want to do, excuse these hairs I seem to have right here, I do not want to make this too tight. I'm going to have to fit my crochet hook in here. So one thing that is really, really crucial is you cannot make these too tight. You have to leave them kind of loose, which if you've ever sewn before, that's going to kind of go against the grain, against making them nice and tight. So now I'm going to move on to the next one, the next stitch, pull it through, keep it from bunching up here on me, and keep it nice and smooth on the bottom, and then I'm going to go back to this hole and pull through. And this is going to create a nice solid line of stitches. Again, keep it nice and loose enough so that you can get the crochet hook in there, but once you're done, it's going to be pretty. If you haven't been able to see this whole thing, there's my line of stitches. And here's it going into the back stitch one more time. Okay. There we go. All right. And now I have to pull this through. So, oh, that went really easily, actually. That went really easily. So now I'm going to go through here in this next hole. You get another nice long stitch. So you want to pull enough through again so that this is not going to be super, super tight on you. But that's the basic idea. We are slip stitching around the sole, and depending on how big your holes are for this method, you might need to work at it or make your holes a little bit bigger. And continue to remember that you do not want to make these too tight. You will regret it later. It'll still work if they're tight, but you'll have a harder time. Okay, so I'm going to punch that through, pull through one more stitch, and bring it through. All right, so I will finish threading my soles, and I will go back and fill in the bottoms if I want, and then I will come back to you when I'm ready to start crocheting the actual boot body. That's where things will start to get fun and things will start to go a lot faster. So now that I'm done with the main boot body, I am going to finish by doing the cuff. And I'm doing a pretty tall cuff just to allow me to fold over the boot when it's done. So I got to get some more yarn ready here. And I'm going to do 6 rounds without doing any more shaping.